the Blue 12 have done like this incredible job with this game is the companions do not speak your language. You're a cat. You have no language beyond meows. I think you can meow at every single person and they will react. Like sometimes they'll react with a happy smile. Sometimes they'll show you like a love heart. Hi everybody and welcome to the Game of the Month Club for June 2026. At last, Cardinal, our calendars have aligned and we're finally sitting down to talk about your Game of the Year 2024 despite the fact it wasn't out in 2024.
It's a common theme and I'm glad we're finally here to play it.
Yes. It's a for those who haven't read the title, for those who don't know, this month's Game of the Month Club is Stray. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about this because this is a game I played when it came out, really enjoyed, and then, to be honest, never gave a second thought to until you elected it as Game of the Month.
It was thrust upon me to give a game, and when I didn't give any games, essentially for Season 6 and the challenges, I thought, it's time for the Game of the Year 2024, as you said.
Incredible scenes going against all the rules that we have. They were thrown out the window and you just give a random game. So I would say a completely random game, your Game of the Year.
A well-deserved game.
No comment because I don't want to spoil the rest of the episode. But of course, I am your host as always, Mr. Lava, and this is my co-host Cardinal Smith. In case this is your first time listening, because as we know, Cardinal, every episode is somebody's first episode. So let's tell them who we are and what we do. We are High Scores, High Stakes, the internet's only competitive PlayStation podcast where myself, Cardinal Smith, and our other host, Tomahawk, compete against one another in a PlayStation Gaming League Challenge. Sure. Where we pick a game, play a challenge in that game. Winner gets 3 points, second place gets 2 points, third place gets 1 point. Whoever is top of the league after 12 weeks wins the coveted High Scores, High Stakes Cup. And if you still haven't checked out Season 6 finale, go and watch it because it is dramatic and it is an absolute all-timer of a finale. It is crazy from top to bottom. So
I did not expect such a finale from the particular choice of game.
No, not at all. I don't know where the game choice came from, but it came from somewhere. What a game.
Where's the check?
What a game. Baby steps, just in case you're not in the know. But yes, that is who we are. That is what we do. We're obviously not in season. So out of season, we talk all things PlayStation, all things gaming, and the last Monday of every month is Game of the Month, where we pick a game and deep dive the living life of it, which is what we plan to do tonight with Stray.
Yes.
Before we get into the deep dive review of Cardinal Smith's Game of the Year 2024, Stray, we like to start these things, Cardinal, with a little bit of a history lesson for people who are interested in game development. I do a little bit of research and try to find a story to tell, or more than one story, depending on the game, of course. And as is the theme for pretty much every game, we have selected as a Game of the Month for 2026. Finding details of this game's development online has proved tricky. I can only find like one or two little interesting tidbits, to be quite honest, and I don't even know if they're actually that interesting.
Deliver us.
We'll let the audience decide whether or not it is interesting. Okay, so development of Stray started in 2015 when two people left Ubisoft Montpellier. Okay, so these two people are called Kula and Viv, and they wanted to leave Ubisoft in order to make a passion project, effectively. So they came up with this idea about a story with a cat, and that was it. They drew up this game idea, threw together some gameplay scenes, some pre-rendered video scenes, and then decided, wonder what, this could actually be something. Let's start pitching to publishers for investment. And of course, Annapurna, because it is the middle of the 20-aughts, decided, yeah, we can back this. So they give them some investment, and that funding that was promised to them from independent investors in Annapurna. Took some time to come through. It came through 2 years later in 2017. So once that money came through, Blue 12 Studios exponentially grew. They went from 2 people to 5 people, and that was it. So the Kula and Viv knew that they wanted to keep just a small team because they didn't like the way Ubisoft ran, which was like, I'm presuming Zoom meetings from all across the planet at all different times of the day to meet everybody. So they wanted to keep it really small, really intimate, so they could have face-to-face meetings and face-to-face, like, this isn't working, let's do this to fix it, not their sort of business. So they kept the team really tiny. But of course, a tiny team means your game cannot be as big as you want it to be. So I don't know what they originally planned for Stray. I couldn't find anything of what the original plan was for Stray, but they shrank it right back to this narrative adventure game that was really linear and just told a very, very, very predefined story. That's really it. That is really it. They revealed it on one of the Sony showcases. Sony picked up the marketing rights for the game, and then this dropped day one on PlayStation Plus, which I don't recall, but
Me neither.
that's how I played it. Apparently, that's how we all played it. But yeah, the only other thing I can find that is fairly interesting is the Dead City. Is that what they call it in this game? The Dead City. That was influenced by Kowloon in China, the famous walled city that no longer exists because it was overgrown and overpopulated. So they moved everyone out and then decimated.
Was this in Hong Kong?
Yes.
Yeah, and that. Okay, everything was like on top of each other and growing.
It's a vertical city. It was a very small footprint, but very tall in height. And of course, Shenmue 2 was set in Kowloon, so it was what a place. But yeah, that's really it. So they decided on that because it looked really organic, and it looked like it grew from the ground rather than being man-made, which is true because my recollection of Kowloon was it was originally all high-rise, but as the population grew, so did the buildings. So the buildings were starting to get made out of corrugated iron and wood, and they were just building on top of what already existed, and they were building like bridges between buildings in order. Yeah, it's just madness. It's a real life Blade Runner, I think.
It's an interesting wiki article read.
It really is. If you want to learn more about Kowloon, then there we go. But yeah, the Blue 12 said it. What they liked about that place was it looked like it grew from the ground rather than being man-made, and they thought that it would be, because it was so vertical, they thought, here, this could be a really fun little playground for a cat. And that's where this game come from. That's all I could find about this game when it comes to its development. As far as I can see, the development seems to be really smooth, other than the hold up for the funding from investors in Annapurna at the start, which took about 18 months to come through. Apart from that, it seemed to went swimmingly. So it is. This game released originally, I thought it was like a 2023 game. That is incorrect. It was 2022. So it is, and it was at launch on PlayStation Plus on all of the tiers. And this is interesting. I'm just reading this here now. Stray achieved the highest number of players on PlayStation Plus in the 12 months following the rebrand, which was all the tiers at the gist.
Oh,
so it is incredible scenes.
Oh, sorry, spoilers.
It was a huge hit. I'm just saying here as well. Steam, on its release date, sold 62,000 copies of Stray. I keep on wanting to say Prey. I don't know why. But let's talk a little bit about our history of this game, Cardinal, because this game's, by this stage of the game, it is 3 years old. So let's talk about the first time I played this. The first time I played this was on PlayStation Plus. To be quite honest.
Yeah. Same for me. I think it must still be on PlayStation Plus in 2024 when I played it as well. Still out there.
Yeah, it stayed on PlayStation Plus for a year, apparently.
I remember seeing early footage of some game. It was still in like the 20 teens, late 20 teens. And it was like, there's a cat game. You're going to be puzzle and jumping around and move like a realistic cat. I thought, whoa, that's never been done before. That could be fun. And I didn't hear about it until years, and then boom, there it is on the PS Plus catalog.
Yes, yes.
Give it a go.
During my research, I did find some pre-release sort of screenshots, and it looked absolutely incredible. Like, I'm just looking at one here, and it is off the slums, and the lighting model in this pre-release stuff is incredible looking. It looks really super modern for a game that was made with 5 people.
That is a crazy small team, like quite a It's quite an optimal development team size, but in terms of the work of animation and testing and writing and all else, the other facets that go to game development, oh, fair play.
Yeah, fair play them is right. But yeah, this is seems to be like the recurring theme when it comes to Ubisoft is people tend to leave Ubisoft because they're sick of making Assassin's Creed and what's the other one? Far Cry. And they leave to make the game that they want to make. And there's been a number of successful games, like super successful games that have come off the back of Ubisoft's bad management. I mean, obviously there's this and Clair Obscur being the two biggies. So it is. But yeah, let's talk about Stray, Cardinal. Let's get into this deep dive review just after we take a wee break here to powder our noses and make ourselves look all beautiful for the video watchers.
Meow.
Okay, Cardinal, your game of the year 2024, despite the fact it released in 2022. Incredible seats. Right, let's talk a little bit. For people who don't know what Stray is, I am struggling to define the type of game that Stray is. So keep me right if you think I'm wrong here. Stray is a puzzle adventure game in which you are a cat. Everything in this game revolves around puzzles. Everything. There's a critical path, but the path will bring you to collect certain things and then figure out how to use these and all that sort of business. Is that a fair assessment of this game?
And it's not like you're piecing together, you're a cat pouring together bits of a hexagon to fit into a thing.
What a game.
Yeah, I know. Stray 2 coming soon. But it's movement as well and puzzles and how do you get from one place to the other. So you're thinking like a cat, and it gives you advice about cats and little lessons throughout about caring for cats or what cats are naturally like or why they need to sleep or why they need to do this and that and this. And it was a kind of beautiful experience, but in terms of how you describe what the game is, I Metal Gear cat puzzle adventure.
Yeah, it's a really tough. It's a really tough game to describe. It is a 3D puzzle adventure game, but with platforming elements. But it's not like traditional platforming. You literally hold a button and the cat will do the platforming for you.
Yes, unless you don't realize there's a run button, sprint button, and these monsters, the Zergs, just get you and you just walk. Anyway, it's linear as well. It's so linear. It's like a walking simulator, linear. But you're dropped into a zone, and that zone has puzzles and story and tasks, and then on to the next.
Yeah, its levels aren't levels per se. They are miniature sandboxes for which you run around, discover people, discover lore, stories. You meet new characters everywhere, but there's always like the critical path. Like when the game opens, you enter into the slums, and there you have to meet certain characters. So they're called the outsiders. You'll meet one outsider and he will give you tasks to complete. And this makes it sound really boring. They are fetch quests by all definitions of the term, but they are extremely interesting because the game doesn't guide you to where these things are. It just gives you a hint or a clue, and it's up to you to use your eyes. And I'm glad you said it, because I had this feeling about this game when I was playing it earlier on in the week. There was bits and pieces of this game where I knew where I had to go. I just had to think like a cat in order to get there, because it's a video game. So I've never played a video game where you control a cat apart from Murdered Soul Survivor, which had very short cat segments, but not like this, where you are the cat. You are very agile. You can jump large distances. You can scratch at things. You can fall from high distances and stuff like that. And you have to like look up and around. It all takes place in, I think it's called the Dead City. I'm fairly certain that's the name of the town, but if I'm wrong, correct me in the comments. But it's an extremely vertical place. So staying on the ground, you're never going to get anywhere in this game. You have to climb on the walls, climb on the fences, climb on the roofs, and travel through lights and buckets.
Yeah, and just on those lights and buckets and city, it is all dark and lit by those neon lights and signs and things like that, and the old street lamps. It is a very atmospheric place and vibe about it throughout, which is also hard to describe.
Yeah, it's Blade Runner underground is the best way I can describe how this game looks. It is very cyberpunk in every sort of meaning of the term. It is neon drenched, segmented by class, living city, and it is hard segregation as well. You know, so this city is split into effectively 3 tiers, or 2.5 tiers, depending on how you want to look at it. The poorest robots, I think they're called companions. The poorest companions live in the bottom level of the city, which is the slums. You make your way up to Midtown, which would be the more upper class robots, and then at the very end of the game, you go into like the 3rd tier, which is pristine,
clinical, yeah, just clean, elite, everything you want to imagine that to be.
Yeah, so it is a 3-tier society, and this is where things start getting interesting for me, because throughout this whole game, there's graffiti everywhere. As you said, there's all these neon lights. Now, the way this game works is this game gives you very limited hand holding. It doesn't put bleeps on a map. In fact, there is no map at all in this game. No. It's all visual. You have to use your eyes and your agility to get anywhere in this game. But there is a robot companion called B12. B12, you can hold a button. Now, I think you hold down the right on the directional pad and it will pop out and sort of tell you what your objective is. It doesn't tell you how to get there, but the way they sort of signpost how you're meant to go, where you're meant to go, is by using those lights. Like the neon lights will flicker on and off, and sometimes they will all switch off apart from one, and you literally just follow the neon lights. If you want, you don't have to. You can go wherever you want in this game at any time, but the way it sort of nudges you into the right direction without using yellow paint is really, really, really intelligent game design. Because apart from one occasion in this game, I never got lost.
No, I agree, and sometimes there's one particular part of what's maybe Midtown. I just remember it quite open in terms of you could go up on the rooftops and in through windows and in amongst different buildings. But there's plenty to do and find, but you could always get around, and you kind of knew where to go just by, if you get up high, you could see everything, or if you...
Yeah.
I remember I had to go around looking for graffiti, and then I went around doing different tasks to get a particular companion a record. Just because I wanted to.
Yeah.
But you could do it. You could get around. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's really one of the strengths of this game is the game design and how it keeps you on track, despite the fact it doesn't tell you explicitly where you're going. It just says, okay, now we need to do this. And you just instinctively, as the game goes on, it becomes second nature to just climb high and look around and go, okay, where do I have to go? That looks like it might be in the area of what we're talking about here. You know, there's one point you're looking for a battery pack. So you jump up and you look and you see what looks to be quite an industrial area. You're thinking, if I'm going to get a battery, it's probably going to be there. And it's always where you think it's going to be. It's really, really, really masterful game design. The time I got stuck was at the very, very start of the game in the slums. And I remember this from the first time I played it as well, because I was like, ugh, you have to go and collect the 4 notebooks from the outsiders. So this game, there's a really strong narrative. We'll come to that when we come to that. But there's basically robots are trying to find their way to the surface that they don't even truly believe exists. So there's 4 outsiders. There's Momo, there's Doc, there is Balthazar, and there is Clementine, and they all have notebooks, and you have to go find them. And the one I couldn't find was Clementine's, I think, because all the rest of them, they have like hidden labs in their house. She doesn't, and her notebook was hidden in a pile of boxes, even though her apartment is full of piles of boxes. And it took me forever to find it. Now, the game does lots of like little subtle cues to the player to let you know you're in the right area. So when you go into an area where there is a key item, it'll play like a little bit of music. And you go, okay, well, I know it's here somewhere. I just need to find it. And if you leave the area, the music slowly fades away. And okay, so it's definitely inside that building. But yeah, no, the game design for this is brilliant. The actual setting for it as well is incredible. It feels like a living, breathing city.
Yeah. And the characters there completely add to that. And the dialogue, as optional as it is to use B12 to listen and communicate.
Mm-hmm.
And have this robot companion translate what these companions are saying, and they evolve, and what they say evolves as your relationship with them evolves, or what you do, and it just feels dynamic and living, as you say.
Yeah, and it's really weird because the Blue 12 have done like this incredible job with this game. Is the companions do not speak your language. You're a cat. You have no language beyond meows. Then you can meow at every single person and they will react. Like sometimes they'll react with a happy smile. Sometimes they'll show you like a love heart. Sometimes they'll bend over and pet you. And other times they will just ignore you. They'll make an angry face and turn around and things like that. So every character here is their own character. And as you say, certain characters will ask you for certain things. Like there is a old woman who wants to knit ponchos, but she needs electrical cabling. And I felt myself going, well, she seems like a nice woman. Let's go find these electric cables, and leading off into this side quest that's completely optional. But I just wanted to see what was going on. And then it turns out that actually isn't optional. But I did it as an optional quest without realizing that I was going to need that item in about half an hour's time. And it's just exceptional. Like everything here, the robots here, the companions are really interesting characters. They are really human. And it's one of the big sort of themes of this game, which is evolution. So the Dead City is a human creation.
Yeah.
Where humans lived in this city until they didn't.
Yeah.
They just disappear. So something happens on the surface. It's never explained in the game. And this is going to be completely spoiler free. But the companions are actually called companions because they were created and designed to do the terrible jobs that no one wants to do, kind of like what we're doing right now in real life. It seems really apt in 2026. What seemed this far flung future in 2023, it has become reality for everyone. But when the humans disappear, the robots have evolved to being almost human.
Yes, yes, entirely. So you always have this question of, are the humans at the next level? Are they in Midtown? Or are they in the upper? Because that is how it sort of feeds you. And you
Yeah.
start to wonder and ask these questions. But the actual companions, the robots, are living daily lives without that servitude, but
Yep.
still that they are the masters, the owners of that little slum apartment or that room, and they each have their own roles within their own society.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's a civilization of robots, and there is certain little things like I just said the old woman. She's a robot.
Yes.
They don't age. They don't age. But you have families of robots all living together. You have robots working jobs. You have painters. You have musicians. You have tech guys in this place. You have a bartender. You have drunks. Like they have taken on the role of the humans in good and bad. All the best parts of humanity are represented throughout the slums in like the creativity, the humanity, and then you have the horrible side of humanity. The destitute, the drunks, the injured robots who feel like they are worthless now because they can't do what they are designed to do effectively. And then there is a religion, I think is the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
Like you have the guy at the very start when you enter and everyone runs away because they think you're one of the Zorks, the Zerks. And then you meet effectively the priest of this religion who just comes out to confront you. It's just this incredible, it sounds so bizarre, a game where you play a cat, but the surrounding characters are all incredibly human.
Absolutely. And you touched on the word there, the Zerks. There is, unexpectedly for me at first, there is a element of high jeopardy to this puzzle linear cat role playing narrative game, and this is these blobs called Zerks that feed off anything that moves.
Yeah.
Whether that be metal or cat. And there's questions that are going to be asked of what are they from, how are they made, why are they there, where did they come from? But they caused me stress.
Yes.
Because once they like ravens to a carcass, as soon as they're onto something, they all clump together and are all chasing after it, blobbing along to get you, or
yeah.
whatever it may be.
When you have to make your way through an area that is infested with Zerks, and you're defenseless, you're a cat, and these things they look kind of like the head crabs from Half-Life, but they're cyclops and they move incredibly fast and they swarm you. And there's these moments like action set pieces where you have to evade them by running, and the running path isn't always clear. So you have to always have one eye on where these things are coming from, and they will flood in, and where you're going and what way do you have to go to best avoid these things. And then you also have the sections in this game, like the high rise to get up to the radio tower, where you have to navigate your way around the Zerks, but also solve puzzles. And the puzzles are fairly simple in this game. There's no puzzle in this game that's really going to stomp anybody. Like, this is a game that's designed to, it's an experiential game where it wants you to see the finish line. and it's not going to put up too much of resistance. But the puzzles can be like everything else in this game. It doesn't communicate with you exactly what it wants you to do, but it gives you the respect that you can figure it out, and it's nothing other than move an item, open a gate that's timed, and sort of trap the Zergs wherever you can in order to get to the next part and stuff like that. It's nothing revolutionary, but it is hugely effective when you have the constraints of, if I stand in a spot for too long, I'm going to get swarmed and I'm going to die. And death is something I saw a couple times this playthrough, believe it or not.
Yeah.
You will die in this game, and the Zergs eat everything. The robots are terrified of these because they eat the robots. But as you said, they will latch onto you and they will decimate you in seconds if you get more than one on you. You can't shake them off, but good luck shaking them off because it slows you right down and more jump on, and you're trying to get to the exit point of the level. It stacks a lot of stress on you. Every time I had to run from the Zergs, it was always stressful. Always stressful.
And it goes from calm exploration, looking for graffiti or helping lady find wires to knit, to your life's on the line, high speed chase. You're looking for somewhere to climb to get away onto the next stage. It's the stress of those points almost stopped me replaying it. But I'm so glad I have played it.
Yes. Yeah, no, I loved my time with this game. But again, when we talk about the Zerks, the evolution of these things, as the game progresses, you learn more and more and more about what these things are. Where they came from is told to you fairly early on. It's like the second area of the game. It tells you straight up, this is where these things came from. But as you go progress through the game, you will see things. I'm not going to spoil them here, but it hints at these things have evolved massively in the short-ish period of time in which they have existed. And there's points in this game where it's quite scary. Not scary as in, there's no jump scares, but visually what you're looking at is terrifying in a sort of thematic sense. And I know this isn't making much sense, but if you play this game and you've got to the third area of the game, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It is like Geiger-esque horror without being scary, but it is the undertones of what this actually means for this world and the people that you've just spent the best part of an hour with is terrifying. So it is. And that theme of evolution runs through everything in Stray. And it is something that completely flew over my head the first time I played it, because the first time I played this, I was just playing a game. This time I was playing it with a view of doing this episode, and I was like sort of overthinking everything probably, but evolution seems to be, this is the game's theme.
And you evolve as a character. I mean, you're a cat, but you the very open end of the game is you're with a pack, a litter, and you fall, while they're jumped about. But you evolve too, from a slightly injured cat to checking out with B12, and B12 as your companion robot translator friend evolves and has its entire own narrative, which reaches its own climax. Of discovery and conclusion and that's where it touches on one part, a lot of this game, on the emotional heartstrings. As we say, narrative game, there is a number of key points, and it's hard to talk about without spoilers.
I know.
But
we will try.
We will try. Yeah, no, it deals with evolution, as you say, with those companions and those books, but then with the fear that runs without those societies, the stagnation and classism without those societies, and then with loss really specifically, it pushes loss in your face that you have to deal with. And that is tough. And at the same time, you're a cat and you can still press the meow button.
You
But
can.
for, for comfort.
You can, but there is a number of times in this game where, yeah, hope is gone for everyone, certainly in the slums. Now, things change as the game progresses, but definitely the overriding theme in the slums when it comes to the companions is just hopelessness. And as you say, loss. Like there is characters here who have tried to find the surface, try to get out of this desolation. The way this city works is whoever lives in the upper area of the city just throws their rubbish down to the lower. And because the slums are the lowest rung of society, everyone's rubbish ends up on them. And the Zergs are just everywhere on the bottom sort of rung of society. So people are disappearing and people are being eaten and just never coming back. There is one particular side story that really resonated with me, and it was Doc, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You meet his family, and they're convinced that, you know, his dad left. We don't know how many years ago, but a long time ago. He's dead. And the story concludes in a really beautiful moment. It's two robots, but but it's really beautiful, and it does the story of this game. Let's talk about the story of this game without spoiling it for everyone. The story in this game is incredible.
Absolutely.
It's incredible.
It is beautiful. And while the conclusion has always touched me, there's actually part of the way it concludes that reminds me of another game I like, Final Fantasy VII.
Okay.
Where just how there's an after credits scene in Final Fantasy VII that I can't spoil that either, even though it's been out since 1998.
Yeah.
Where it gives you an impression that you have to interpret yourself. I love that. I love it because I can interpret that to be brilliant, or I can interpret that to be devastating and sad, or I can interpret that to be it's open, right? But it is also just well strung together. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think what makes the story so good in this is, number one, the dialogue's fantastic. And it's not voice acted because they speak a different language. They just make a series of sounds, but the text is being translated by your companion B12, and you read what they're telling you, but their sounds they're making are not understandable. But the story, as you progress through the tiers of society, the story, what's the word I'm looking for? The conflict that the companions are facing changes. So the slums, the lowest rung of society, they're dealing with hopelessness, helplessness, loss all the time. When you go up to Midtown, which is a far more affluent area, they're dealing with tyranny. It's like martial law there. It's tyranny, and people are paranoid. They're terrified. They're ratting on each other in order to protect themselves. It reeks of a certain European country in the mid 1930s, if you know what I'm saying. It does. And then when you get to the end game, it's control. It's just all about control. And there is like a character that follows you the whole way through this game, and it's not like a robot, it's not a Zork, and it's not a cat. It is the network. Now, the network is a really, I'm calling it a character. I don't know if it is, but to me it's a character because it's the one constant from the start of the game to the end of the game is the network, and it is never explained who created the network, what the network was actually designed to do, and if what's going on in this world right now was its original purpose, or if the AI, like everything else in this world, has the AI evolved over time since the humans have gone. It's had no overseer.
Yes.
And is it doing what it's meant to be doing? And I don't know. By the end of the game, I just really distrusted the network, despite you never interact with it as a player, but it's always there. Everyone constantly talks about the network. There's loads of graffiti. There's like RIP humans, and then there's just network written. I think it's called City Service Network, is just written all over the place in big, huge letters. And it's just the whole game's just really, it just takes that Blade Runner, that, what do you call it, cyberpunk sort of whole, is when does the humans end and where does the computers begin. There's no humans in this world, so it makes it really easy for us. But even when you talk about the evolution of the companions, especially at the lower levels, it is the first time I played this game, I thought it was going to be the humans, but that's not the case. They've just evolved. The programming has evolved without any sort of feel safe.
Feel safe and no human oversight.
Mm-hmm. It's just it's this story, and a lot of the story in this game is just not communicated with you through dialogue or find notes. It's just implication in what you see in the world around you and what you hear the other characters talking about.
This is beautifully described. Well done, lover.
Thank you very much. I think the story is incredible in this game. The story is incredible. And I don't I think if they tried to tell the story that I created in my own head, it wouldn't have worked as well as what it does here. It's very From Software storytelling, where it's all environmental, and incidental, and it gives you enough breadcrumbs so you can make a loaf of bread, if that makes sense. Here's a wee bit of detail. Make of it what you will.
Piece together.
That's what I just did the whole time. And it's just an incredible story. That is without spoilers, completely without spoilers. So it probably makes no sense to some people who haven't played this game.
And sorry about that, but it is to be experienced and enjoyed. You soak in it. You have to. This is not a game to speed run. It's you go into the narrative, into that story, and get that music playing. Robot is record. And
that guy sucks. He's awful. He's awful. Let's talk about other elements of this game, though. This is, as you said, Cardinal, it's a game to be experienced. It's not, by any stretch of imagination, a long game. It's a 3-hour game if you wanted to go from start to finish without doing anything else. There's 3 hours of game here. If you want to do everything, I think my most recent playthrough for this review was 6 hours, and I felt like I saw pretty much everything the game had to offer to me, and I loved every second of it. But let's talk about how this game looks, because I talked about in the preamble, the pre-release sort of screenshots and gameplay for this looked amazing. This game looks incredible. It is just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful game.
And this is pre-Cyberpunk. This was your everything you imagined to be. As I said, dark neon lights, damp, dirty times, but really cool and pieced together. And the entire map flowed nicely out without there being a map.
Yep.
It was cool. But how did you get around? You got around by controlling a literal motion captured cat.
Yep.
So, and just for fact's sake, the cat in the game was a real cat and a real stray cat they found in Montpellier.
Yep.
France, Murta. And they brought in a few other cats.
They did, yeah.
But those motion capture, whoa. And I guess that's where it is a love of cats behind this. They have cat mascots in the studio and cat owners. It does drop, as I said, hints about cat care and like why
Yeah,
cats do
yeah.
certain things and what they're breathing and sleeping and eating. So it just deeply involved in that. And I'll be open. I am a cat person.
Mhm.
I've always had cats. That's kind of why I played the game. It's like, this is awesome. I'm going to be a cat. But kind of, yeah. Where was I going?
I don't know. We were talking about how the game looked when you started talking about cats.
Oh,
And
it's
how
hard
much you
not
love
to say.
cats. It is.
Yeah.
It's one thing I will say about this game is everything looks incredible, but as you said, it's I think they used 2 cats to motion capture. And I think I read somewhere that the office had, by the end of development of this, they had as many cats as they did humans in the office. Just the owner, they would bring their cats into work and they would just watch how the cat got around the office and stuff like that. And then they're like, let's stick on the wee dots. Let's go. Let's just do this. It looks incredible. The cat in this game, which is nameless, the cat is never given a name, is just stunning to watch it move around the environment. It just looks the movement of this cat looks so real that it's crazy. And there is moments where the animation stitching in between frames can look kind of janky, as if you're jumping across like a large gap that involves a lot of moves. If you turn too quickly, the cat can kind of skip frames and it looks kind of janky, but it's very, very, very few and far between, and it takes away nothing from the overall look of this game. The cat moves incredibly realistically, and even the things you don't have to do, but you do it because you're a cat and you're now fully embodying a cat, like stopping at a puddle and drinking water, taking random naps on pillows or sofas or beds or bits of carpet. And then there's those bits where you can rub up against a robot's leg to try to make him like it and all this here business. It's all just it's organic as all heck. It looks living and breathing. The environment changes constantly and it looks exactly as you would imagine it. So the slums being the lowest level of an underground city that has a big metal roof is, as you said at the start, Cardinal, so dark, and it's lit up completely by string lights and neon lights, and the lighting model is just ridiculously good. Like the shadows are what you would expect. It's not bright, but you can see where you're going and you can see all the details. You can look at the like road signs that has to be translated by B12. You can look at all the graffiti. You can read posters on the walls. There's just so much going on that the density of detail in this game is just frightening. And then when you move to Midtown, the aesthetic completely changes. It's still neon drenched, but it is the cyberpunk that and we all love. It is hugely technological. There's digital screens everywhere. There's wanted posters. There's like, crawling text walls and all this here business. And it looks awesome. It looks awesome. And then when you get to the final sort of, there's one area of the game, without spoiling it, where it's very naturalistic, where it's basically just a tree. And then you get to the very top of the game. And as we said at the start, it looks pristine, almost Mirror's Edge in clean, neo-futuristic look. It's a stunning looking game. White with bold primary colors, and everything just seems to be the way it was when the humans disappeared. The companions up there are still brushing the floors and mopping and cleaning, and they do not interact with you at all. Everything up there is exactly as it was when the humans disappeared, whatever happened to the humans.
Oh, you imagine the other companions down below probably behaved.
Yeah, it's definitely how they started their life, and they've changed because of necessity, I suppose. But yeah, it's just an incredible looking game. There's not a moment in this game where there's not something beautiful to look at. It's densely detailed. It reminds me of Arkham City in that there's always something going on no matter where you look or where you go. There's always
I'm
something.
Catman.
There's always
What?
something to see or always something going on, even if it's something silly like a painter dropping a paint tin and, annoying a laundrette owner or whatever it might be. Do you know what I mean? There's something silly always going on or something absolutely terrifying or horrifying. And in the small moments of the game where there's like organic things to look at, they are horrifying. It is repulsive. And all this in a game where you're a cat is being separated from his family and you're trying to get back to your family whilst also simultaneously becoming a freedom fighter for robots. It makes no sense. It makes no sense, but it's a stunner. It is a stunner. I think it's Unreal Engine 4. It's not even Unreal Engine 5. It predates Unreal Engine 5, I think.
Same as Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just an incredible looking game, and it just goes to show you just how small the technological leap was between PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. Because this game passes the eye test every day of the week. It's beautiful.
So
So
that takes us to a place where where we probably can't continue without spoilers. And I sort of wonder, in terms of a game of the month, do we go to a section where we then discuss what we think of
it? So no spoilers here, Cardinal. We've turned to that page. We used to do nothing but spoilers. Remember those days where it was like a gaming book club?
It had to change.
It did.
It had to change.
But the people were not happy about us spoiling games. But yes, let's talk the music instead, okay? Because the music here is really interesting. It's really interesting. We talked about the slums musician guy, and he wants your task for him, and it's completely optional, is there's sheet music throughout the slums. Just find it and bring it to him, basically.
That was it. Sheet music, not a record. Silly me.
And he will play the music for you on his guitar, but every song there just sounds like music written by a robot. It's just it's incredible.
It really does. I've just browsed. Full disclosure, I just browsed through the YouTube soundtrack. It is all like, so it's like beeps and noises and like mechanical sounds, but it's all pretty still funky. Some really tense.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. It is functional in isolation to the game, but it's one of those ones where soundtrack in context is everything. And what this game does so well is when it is a somber moment, the music that accompanies those moments is so beautifully in tone that it really, like, as you said, it really tugs the heartstrings. And when the game wants to scare you or when it wants you to feel fear or panic, the music really drives that home for you. You get swept up with the music and what's happening on screen at the same time. I wouldn't recommend going onto YouTube and listening to Stray in your spare time, because I think without the context, it's just, as you said, it's industrial, mechanical sounds.
Yeah, but combined with Zerks jumping at you and noises, you're overloaded with sensations as the tempo up beats. There's noisier, beeping, baggy noises.
Yep. And the music at the conclusion of this game is just wow.
Everything. Oh, there's lots about the conclusion of the game. Is brilliant. And well, yeah, it's wow. Okay. No, you did say no spoilers.
The conclusion's incredible. This is a game that's very much about the journey rather than the destination, but what a destination.
Redacted statement.
It does, as you said, it's like it ends fairly conclusively, but leaves just enough question marks to make you wonder. You could say that, and we have said that, but no, this game's narrative, graphics, the gameplay's rock solid for a. You said the words walking simulator, and it at times it is, but for a game of this ilk, there's a lot of gameplay here, and the gameplay is always rock solid. It invests you, and there is
Yeah.
points of it where it requires actual concentration to succeed, but it's just as a package. Stray, would it have won Game of the Year in 2023 for me? Well, it didn't win it for me. Did it win it in 2024? No, it did not.
Yes, it
But
did.
could it have? Possibly. I wish I had played
Physically
it
not, because
again.
it was Twitch.
I wish you had said to me, "I'm thinking about Stray," and I would have played it again, and maybe I would have had a far more conducive conversation about it, because playing it through this time, this is only my second time playing it as well, was a completely different experience from the first time. I enjoyed my first time with Stray. I really did. I thought it was a wonderful story, but that's all I thought of it. Was it was just a story. And when you're playing it with the lens of, we're going to spend an hour talking about this game, how you play games and what you pay attention to completely changes.
Yeah.
And that changed everything with how I thought about Stray. So now the time has come where we have to put Stray
Oh,
on our patented, highly original, no one's ever thought of it before, high scores, high stakes tier list. And for new listeners, our tier list is wholly original. It is a trademark of High Scores, High Stakes Corp. And if you see anyone else using this, we will come after you litigatively. We will have you.
maybe. Yeah.
We will have our day in court. But it is S tier to D tier. S tier is a masterpiece. A tier is a great game. B tier is a good game. C tier is it's an okay game. And D tier is don't play this game. So where are we
D
putting this?
for don't.
Where are we putting this on the tier list? Before you tell me, because you're going to go after Tomahawk. And Tomahawk has played this game, and he seemed to rather enjoy it. And this is his verdict. On my original playthrough, I would have given it a B tier. But the places where the plots and subplots brought me have pushed it to an A tier. I didn't vibe with the cat, he says, but I loved how you could annoy the robots playing Mahjong. Wasn't sure at the time I knew what the game wanted to be, but I really enjoyed the direction it took me. P.S. I like dogs more than cats. So Tomahawk has put it on A tier. Where are you pitting it, Cardinal?
I'm just glad you were here to read out Tom's statement rather than him spend 10 minutes.
I know,
getting
boring
through
us
that.
with
Just,
it.
all right. Woof.
Is he
Woof,
still
woof.
talking?
What? Look, this isn't about whether you like cats or dogs. You like
It's not.
life, animals, and you have a heart. That's what I'm trying to bring to the mustache game right now. A humanity. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, a better mustache than Tomahawk's.
Unlike Tomahawk. What did I say? I give it Game of the Year 2024.
Yep.
Part of the reason is that I don't always buy exclusive games that come out during the year, but they're at their highest price because I'm stingy.
Of course. So the rich stay rich.
It's the story. It's the class story. It's like Titanic here, with the three A, B, and C tiers. This touched me, and it was one of those rare games where I have a companion beside me while I play a game in the form of my partner, and really liked it too. And it is dramatic pause in S tier.
Oh, wow. S tier? I'm not surprised. I am surprised, but I'm not surprised. S tier is top praise indeed. Now it's my turn.
Well done.
This is a game that, like you said, doesn't come around very often. This is a game that first playthrough I really enjoyed. First playthrough, I probably would have given us a B tier. I liked it. I really enjoyed the story and thought nothing else of this game at all. Second playthrough, 3 years later, everything changed, and I started really paying attention to what the game was trying to tell me. And at every given moment, there is a story being shared to the player through indirect means. And I really, really, really like environmental storytelling and giving the player credit to follow a trail of breadcrumbs to their own conclusion. I really like that in a game. This game moved me massively first time and second time, even though I knew what was going to happen the second time. And it moved me a lot more in the second playthrough because of just the stories that was unfolding in front of me repeatedly. I really like this game. Is it a masterpiece? I don't think it is, but I think it's really, really, really close. I think it's really close. I don't know what it is. It's just missing something. I can't put my finger on what it was for me. I am giving Stray an extremely high A tier because it is a great, great, great game. And I think everyone should play it at least once, probably twice.
Yeah. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done, guys. I loved it. Stuck with me. There's a few games stick with me throughout, and this was one. So yeah. I'm glad we finally covered it.
Yeah, but don't know what? Me too. Me too. When you said Stray, I was like, ugh, the cat game. Of course he wants to play that. But no, I'm really glad you picked it, and I'm really glad I played through it for the second time because I did. I loved it. It's a damn great game. It's really good. And we could talk about this all night, but it is extremely late. And now, like the kitty litter tray, we need to wrap it up and get it out. Let's do that now. And that is it, Cardinal. Another episode done. Another game of the month done. And another extremely high rated game. People are going to start shouting at us for liking every game we play at the end of every month.
Well, we're purring along here nicely. And to be honest, we tend to pick good games for Game of the Month.
I guess if we're going to play a game for a month or however long it might be, it might as well be a good one. And I've no doubt in my mind there's going to be a stinker. I think the closest we come to a stinker was FBC Firebreak.
Oh.
Remember that? I think me and you give it a C tier. And in hindsight, that was it's looking very generous indeed.
I just didn't want to hurt Tom's feelings so much.
A C tier. Classic. But yeah, that is it. All wrapped up. I would love to tell you what the game is for July. But at this moment in time, we have yet to finalize that.
You tell us.
It's yet to be finalized.
You, the listener, give us an idea. Yeah. What's your game of the month?
Yeah, what should we play for July? We'll throw it in the hat because right now we have a handful of games. So we do, and we need to get down to one. There is, I think, one or two games that have been thrown out that I would quite like to cover, but we have all the time in the world because we're never going anywhere, Cardinal. But if you want to hear a certain game for Game of the Month, throw it in the comments like Cardinal said, and we will take it into active consideration. Absolutely, we will.
Wait.
In the lieu of
in the litter
a Game of the Month announcement, let us curry favor by doing the housekeeping, Cardinal, everyone's favorite part, okay? So if you're listening to this on a podcast platform and you haven't yet give us a rating, give us whatever, 1 star to 5 star, whatever you think we're worth, that's what we get. If you've done that but you haven't given us a written review, that helps us an awful lot more and feeds Spotify and Apple's algorithms. Why not write a quick little review telling everyone how great we are? And if you're watching this on YouTube, hello YouTube, hi, and you haven't yet hit that subscribe button, do that now. Also, leave your comments in this video below. That tells YouTube that more people should see it. And even if while you're there, click that wee hype button. I don't know what it does, but it does something.
Ding.
And if 1 hour-ish of high scores, high stakes isn't enough to fill your week, because why would 1 hour be enough to fill a week? then why not head on over to highscoreshighstakes.com. There you'll find every episode we've ever done in video format, and you will find little mini reviews for every games we have played a challenge in. And if all this sounds boring to you and you still want to find a way to support us, the quickest, easiest, and freest route of supporting us is by hitting that share button and sending this episode or any other episode to a friend or a family member you think may enjoy the podcast. Whew. And with all that being said, Cardinal, Stray is done. June is done. We're officially more than halfway through 2026.
That's ridiculous.
It is also the wee hours of the morning. So that means I have nothing left to say except
5 hours until, or 5 months until Grand Theft Auto 6.
Oh, I have nothing left to say except be Mr. Level. This has been High Scores High Stakes Game of the Month Club. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next month. Love you. Bye.
Meow.